A group of ancient looted artefacts is heading back to their rightful home with some controversy attached. Now, the bronzes, similar to these, were stolen from the West African kingdom of Benin in the late 1800s during the colonial period. The kingdom was located within modern-day Nigeria. Well, the priceless artefacts ended up in museums across Europe, and now some of those institutions are giving them back, but not all of them. Our Scott McLean joins us now from London with the details. Good to see you, Scott. So finally, some European institutions are handing back some of those priceless artefacts.
Yeah, that's right, Linda. And it's not just the Kingdom of Benin that you mentioned, it's also the country of Benin that in recent days have had these priceless artifacts and artworks returned to them. Now, all of these objects were taken by French and British troops in the 1890s, and here we are, more than 120 years later, and we're still talking about them. And that's because more and more European museums and institutions are rethinking what to do with large swaths of their collections that were taken by force or by otherwise highly questionable methods during the colonial era, and undoubtedly, attitudes within those institutions are shifting.
Though the tools are now modern, in West Africa they've been casting bronze sculptures like this for centuries. But thousands of the region's oldest and most famous pieces of art aren't here. For well over a century, they've been in museums across Europe. But maybe not for much longer. French President Emmanuel Macron was there for the official handover of 26 artifacts that had been stolen from what is now the country of Benin in the 1890s. That government is still seeking thousands more. In the UK, the universities of Aberdeen and Cambridge are returning sculptures from the Kingdom of Benin, now part of Nigeria.
When one sees a wrong that is so egregious, the only institutional question one can ask is how to right that wrong.
They're called the Benin bronzes, looted by British troops 124 years ago, then auctioned off to museums across Europe. 136 of them still sit inside a museum at Cambridge University, which is now trying to figure out how best to give them back.
It's been made very clear to us that members of the court, members of the public in that part of Nigeria do not forget about what happened in 1897. If it's right to return material that was looted by the Nazis to the descendants of the people from whom it was taken, we should apply the same logic if the people from whom things were taken are in Africa or elsewhere.
The German government also plans to hand back its Benin bronzes next year, but not everyone agrees on the principle of returning artifacts taken by foreign powers. Some argue they're safer in European museums. The British Museum, which still houses the famous Elgin marbles taken from Greece more than 2 centuries ago, also has more than 900 Benin bronzes. It says it's happy to share, but it has not committed to returning them.
Where do you draw the line on all this? I mean, this happened more than 120 years ago. If this happened 200 years ago or 500 years ago, would we be having this same discussion today?
I think we make case-by-case decisions. It's not about an arbitrary cut-off point. One of the significant factors in the Benin case is that the court is still there. The people are still there. We have had members of the Benin royal family right in this space.
In Nigeria, a brand new museum of West African art is opening, which will house many of the returned artifacts.
We've been expectant of these objects for over a century now. I was born into the struggle, so we're happy about it.
And now, these handovers are small in number compared to the total number of these priceless artifacts that may one day change hands. And so some people in West Africa, Linda, wonder why this is being done so incrementally and why these European museums and institutions can't just hand back the whole lot all at once. Well, in the case of the British Museum, for instance, British law actually prevents it from handing back any of its Benin bronzes, even if it wanted to. In the case of the Cambridge Museum, well, they are waiting for that brand new museum to be built in Nigeria before handing back their bronzes. And I asked the museum director in Cambridge about any concerns about the safety and security of these objects once they're sent back. And he acknowledged that, of course, Nigeria has serious security concerns, but he said that at the end of the day, even European museums and institutions are not immune from theft. Linda?